Walk of Shame is a film that I have not actually ever heard anybody else talk about, but it is pretty well known. There are 52,000 reviews of this film on IMDb, and it's got an overall rating of 6 out of 10. So it's pretty well known and pretty well received. I don't know anybody who's seen it, so if you want to share your thoughts with me, please do, because I loved this film. Now, it wasn't the best film I've ever seen. I'm not going to sit and pretend that that's the case, but I did absolutely thoroughly enjoy this film. It was released in 2014, directed by Stephen Brill, also written by Brill, and stars Elizabeth Banks and James Marsden. And I'll read the description from IMDb to give you an overview of what it's about. There won't be any spoilers in this discussion. So this says, a reporter's dream of becoming a news anchor is compromised after a one-night stand leaves her stranded in downtown LA, without a phone, car, ID or money, and only 8 hours to make it to the most important job interview of her life. So we have our protagonist Meghan, who, has a reasonably successful career, but she has this opportunity to interview for a news anchor position, which is obviously, could potentially be a life-changing job. But she has a one-night stand, she's stranded, she is basically racing against the clock to get to this opportunity, and she has 8 hours to do it. Ordinarily, I'm not the biggest fan of films where there's a race against the clock, but it's very rare that that is the case with a comedy. Comedy films don't often use that kind of thing because I feel like it makes the pacing go really quickly, and when comedy films are really fast-paced, they're not as relaxing and enjoyable. I'm obviously generalising, there are exceptions, this is one of them. And I think the reason it works is because Meghan's a really likeable character. And, you want the best for her, you want her to be able to get to where she needs to be. And I will say, it's not 100% predictable. Obviously, it's a comedy, it's not going to be too overly complicated or have that many twists and surprising events. But it's not the most predictable, and I think it takes the narrative and it works it really well and makes it something that's enjoyable to watch. I guess I was emotionally invested in this. I wanted her to be able to get there in time. 8 hours sounds like a lot of time, but when you realise the situation she's in, and obviously problems keep arising that keep holding her back, some of the problems are more far-fetched than others, but it's interesting to see how she gets out of these situations, how she problem solves, and there is the inevitable character development and personal growth for Meghan throughout the film. I really like it. I don't want to say much more than that about the narrative itself. I don't want to spoil the things that she comes across along the way. But I think the narrative is certainly a very interesting one, very well executed. Meghan as a character is really likeable. Elizabeth Banks is really good in this. I like James Marsden a lot as well. It's just over an hour and a half, so the time is, pretty perfect for a comedy. In terms of how funny it is, I wouldn't say it's laugh out loud funny, but certainly it made me chuckle in a few places. I mean, that's a lie, I don't ever chuckle, but it put a smile on my face. It's light-hearted a lot of the time. There are, of course, a few more serious moments, but this is definitely one of the more, we're going to make this a relaxing comedy rather than, say, a comedy drama. It works really well. If you have seen it, please let me know you've seen it, because at the moment I think those 52,000 reviews are just robots, because I haven't met anybody who's seen this. If you're one of those 52,000, please let me know. It is a really good film, really enjoyable, easy to watch, very relaxing, doesn't take much concentration, a nice way to spend an hour and a half. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I actually can't remember where I saw it. It was one of the streaming sites. Maybe Netflix, possibly Prime, one of the two. Either way, Walk of Shame. Really good fun. A film that I'd happily watch again. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Very happy to recommend it.